Welcome to the Heart of Sweetness, where innovation meets tradition. Join us on a virtual tour of the Amalgamated Sugar Company's Nampa, Idaho processing facility, where every day is a symphony of precision and quality in the production of sugar. Originally constructed in 1942, the Nampa factory can process 11,800 tons of sugar beets a day, for a total of 1.7 million tons during a campaign. The Nampa factory receives sugar beets from all over the states of Idaho, Oregon, and Washington, from Glenns Ferry, Idaho to Prosser, Washington. Harvest for amalgamated growers typically begins in September and ends in November for the western region. During harvest, growers will deliver sugar beets, free of leaves and dirt, to various beet receiving stations, where they will eventually be hauled to the Nampa factory. Sugar beets are stored outside, unprotected, in cold weather until they can be processed. The Nampa factory will produce approximately 2 million pounds of sugar a day, year-round, using the sugar extracted from the sugar beets during campaign. Sugar beets enter the factory through a flume, which washes the beets, removing dirt and debris before they're sliced. A rotary rock catcher removes heavy materials from the water and sugar beets. After being washed, the sugar beets make their way to the hopper, where they wait to be cut into French fry-looking strips called cossettes. The cossettes are placed in a diffuser, which uses hot water to soak the sugar out of the sugar beet using diffusion. The cossettes remain in the diffuser for roughly an hour. The liquid that remains after soaking the sugar beet cossettes in hot water is called raw juice. After most of the sugar has been diffused, the sugar beet still has a purpose. Now called wet pulp, the cossettes are pressed, dried, and sold as cattle feed. The raw juice, which contains the sugar, is sent to carbonation, where milk of lime and carbon dioxide are used to purify the juice. Impurities in the raw juice are removed using clarifiers and filters. The juice is now called thin juice and looks like tea. We will also soften the thin juice using equipment similar to a home water softener. Softening the thin juice prevents the buildup of hard water scale in the evaporators and other heating equipment. The thin juice is concentrated using multiple effect evaporators and is now called thick juice, which looks like maple syrup. Thin juice is approximately 80% water, while thick juice is about 30% water. The Nampa factory produces approximately 700 gallons of distilled water per minute from the evaporators. This water is called condensate. Thick juice goes one of two places, either to the sugar end of the factory to be crystallized into sugar, or into large storage tanks to be crystallized later during the juice campaign. On the pan floor of the factory, thick juice is enriched with raw sugars in the high melter and filtered. The liquid is now called standard liquor. The standard liquor is further concentrated in large vacuum pans until there's not enough water to keep the sugar dissolved. A small amount of ground sugar crystals called fondant is injected into the vacuum pan as seed, so the sugar crystals start to grow the appropriate size. After the sugar crystals reach the correct size, a centrifugal machine is used to separate the remaining liquid from the sugar crystals. From this point, the sugar is dried, cooled, weighed, and sent to storage. Sugar is moved to large storage silos, where it awaits shipment. These 12 silos at the Nampa facility have the ability to store over 100 million pounds of sugar. The remaining syrup is crystallized 2 more times, producing raw sugars that are used to enrich thick juice into standard liquor. The final syrup is called molasses. At the Nampa factory, molasses is processed through large chromatography columns to capture additional sugar and animal feed byproducts called betaine. Betaine is recovered from beet molasses and is available in either liquid or crystalline form. The Nampa factory is the only facility in the United States that crystallizes betaine and is sold in 27 different countries. The recovery process was developed by Amalgamated Research, LLC. From storage, the sugar is classified into various granulation sizes by passing through a series of screens and then packaged. The Nampa factory ships 2 million pounds of sugar per day. One of Nampa's warehouse's main functions is to package retail product sugar to be sold on shelves, as well as Amalgamated Sugar's powdered sugar producer. Brown sugar is exclusively packaged at the Nissa warehouse facility. Amalgamated Sugar is a leader in sustainable food production. We release 49% less greenhouse gases and use 29% less fossil fuel energy per bag of sugar than we did 20 years ago. The Nampa factory is the first amalgamated factory to install an anaerobic digester to treat the wastewater generated during campaign. We are committed to being an environmentally friendly neighbor in the Nampa community. We hope you've enjoyed learning more about how sugar is produced at Amalgamated Sugar. If you would like to learn more about our company, please visit amalgamatedsugar.com.